All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to tackle a topic that gives so many pool owners a headache: water chemistry. My goal here is simple. We're going to take you from someone who's just kind of guessing, throwing in chemicals, and crossing your fingers to a total pro who knows exactly what your pool needs to be sparkling, safe, and just plain perfect. So, does this sound at all familiar? You walk outside, you're ready for that perfect swim, but you're greeted by this murky, cloudy water. Ugh. Or maybe you get in and just a few minutes later, your skin is all itchy, your eyes are burning. It's so frustrating, right? It just kills the whole vibe of having a pool in the first place. I mean, there is nothing more disappointing than seeing that milky, cloudy water. You know it should be crystal clear, but instead it just looks uninviting. It's probably the number one sign that tells you something is seriously out of balance in your water. And then, of course, there's the actual physical discomfort. That itchy skin, those red stinging eyes after you've been swimming. Yeah, that's not normal. It's not just something you have to put up with. It's literally your body telling you, hey, this water is either way too acidic or way too alkaline. It's definitely not balanced. Okay, and what about that really strong chlorine smell? A lot of people think, oh, that smells strong, the pool must be super clean. But here's a little secret, that's completely wrong. A strong chemical smell is a huge red flag that your chlorine is actually not doing its job. We'll get to exactly why in just a minute. So, how do we fix all this stuff? Well, it all comes down to understanding one core concept. I want you to forget about randomly dumping chemicals in the water. The real secret to perfect pool water is balancing three key parts that all work together. We call it the water chemistry triangle. And here they are. You've got your pH, which measures acidity. You've got chlorine, which is your sanitizer. It kills all the nasty stuff. And then you have total alkalinity, which is the buffer. The best way to think about it is like a three-legged stool. If one of those legs is off, the whole thing gets wobbly and tips over. Your pool water is exactly the same. These three have to be in harmony. Now, look, most of us have heard about pH and chlorine, but the one that gets ignored all the time, and is, you could argue, the most important one to get right first, is total alkalinity. I like to call it the unsung hero of your pool, or even better, think of it as your pH's personal bodyguard. So what in the world is total alkalinity, or TA? To put it simply, it's the water's ability to fight off big changes in pH. It acts like an anchor, a stabilizer. If your alkalinity is off, your pH level is going to be all over the place, and it's going to be almost impossible to keep under control. And this visualizes it perfectly. On one side with low TA, your pH is on a total roller coaster. A little bit of rain, a few people swimming, adding some chlorine, boom, the pH swings way up or way down. We call this the yo-yo effect. But on the other side with good TA, that bodyguard is on the job. It keeps the pH stable, protected, and predictable. So here's the magic number. This is what you're aiming for. The ideal range for total alkalinity is between 100 and 150 parts per million, or ppm. Go ahead and commit that to memory. It's the foundation for everything else. Get this right first. Okay, so we know our target, but what actually happens when these levels get out of whack? The results aren't just ugly water. We're talking about things that can affect your health and cause some really expensive damage to your pool. Let's just walk through this. If your pH is too low, the water gets acidic. It becomes corrosive. It will literally start to eat away at your pool liner, your ladders, your pump, everything. Now, if your pH is too high, two bad things happen. Your chlorine gets super lazy and stops working, and you get that cloudy water and nasty scale buildup. And see how alkalinity causes the same problems? Low alkalinity gives you that pH yo-yo and corrosion. High alkalinity makes the pH really stubborn and hard to change, and also leads to cloudy water and scale. It's all connected. And this brings us back to that chemical smell. When you smell chlorine, what you're really smelling are these things called chloramines. They're formed when chlorine combines with all the junk in the pool. Sweat, oils, lotions, that kind of stuff. It means your good, free chlorine is all used up, and it's not killing germs anymore. So a smelly pool is actually a dirty pool. It needs more effective chlorine, not less. All right, enough with the problems. Let's talk solutions. This is where you take back control. In pool care, knowledge is power, and that power comes from testing your water. So let's get into your action plan for perfect water. So you've got a few ways to test. You've got the test strips. They're cheap, but honestly, they're not very reliable. The colors are hard to read. Liquid test kits are a definite step up. They give you better accuracy. But if you want really precise, no doubt about it results, nothing beats a digital meter. It just takes all the guesswork out of the equation. Okay, pay close attention because this might be the most important slide we look at. The order you add your chemicals in is not a suggestion, it's a rule. After you test your water, you always adjust total alkalinity first. Always. Why? Remember, it's the bodyguard for your pH. If you try to fix the pH before the alkalinity is stable, you're just going to be stuck in that yo-yo effect forever. So the order is alkalinity first, then pH, and only then do you mess with the chlorine. Now, sometimes your water just needs a fresh start, especially if you want to get rid of those smelly chloramines. That's when you do what's called a chlorine shock. It's basically adding a big dose of chlorine all at once to burn off all the contaminants. Just make sure your pH is balanced first, then add the recommended amount. Get that filter pump running to circulate it everywhere, and this is important, wait until the chlorine level drops back down to a safe 1 to 3 ppm before anybody jumps in. If you take away just one single thing from all of this, let it be the simple Dutch proverb, meten is weten. To measure is to know. It's so true. You can't manage what you don't measure. Consistent, accurate testing, that's the whole secret. It's the only way to get that clear, safe water you want. See? By understanding these simple principles, the triangle, why alkalinity is so important, and the right order to do things, you're not just guessing anymore. You are moving from a place of constant frustration to a place of confidence and total control over your pool. So let's quickly recap your path to the perfect pool. First, test your water often, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, especially if it's getting a lot of use. Remember the golden rule. Balance alkalinity before you even think about touching the pH. Keep that water chemistry triangle in your mind. They're a team. And don't be afraid to shock the pool when it needs it. That's how you get it really clean. And finally, the big secret, it's just consistency. Small, regular adjustments are always better than big, panicked ones. The knowledge is all yours now. You have the blueprint. You know how to get that crystal clear, perfectly balanced water that feels amazing to swim in. So the only real question left is, are you ready to stop being a frustrated pool owner and start being a confident pool master?